I think the story of our evolution is how important it has become as part of our culture. Very early on, we had quite high adoption from kind of the get-go, which was really, really good. It kind of indicated to us that maybe we had this pent-up demand for people to want to recognize their colleagues. We do seem to have a very tight-knit cohort of employees, or group of employees that genuinely like each other. And we had a number of different ways employees could recognize each other before we rolled out this program. And we kind of didn't really understand how frequently that was happening because there was no metrics around that until we had the program that we rolled out. And then we realized how pervasive and almost affectionate employees are to one another. Peer-to-peer recognition is by far the highest utilized form of recognition in the company, and that's been from the get-go. So it is my peer employees who recognize me and vice versa. We have manager to direct report recognition, and that utilization is good and strong, but it's not even close to the amount of peer-to-peer recognition we have. And over the last 8 years of the program, what we've seen is it's become part of our DNA. And before we had the recognition program at Minto, we said we had a very strong sense of community. It was a family started company 65 years ago, and there was a strong sense of community, strong sense of family, and that was all very sincere and legitimate, and it's still the case. And what our recognition program allows us is another avenue to demonstrate that. We participate in an annual employee engagement survey. One of the survey that we leverage has a very specific question related to recognition. Have you been recognized in the last 3 to 6 months? And the answer to that question is very specific. It's meant to say, like, specifically in this period of time you've been recognized. But there's another element to that question, and that is, do you feel like you are being recognized? Even though that isn't stated in the question, but we hear from employees that that's what they're thinking when they answer the question. And our score in that particular question has been consistently quite high and quite strong across their organization. And that's really reaffirming for us that when we do this very important pulse check of the organization and how the level of engagement, that employees feel like they are being recognized. To say that we have lower attrition as a result of our recognition program is a true statement. It's an evolution, and it's going to take time, and it's going to take education, and it's going to take practice for people to change how they communicate, how they interact. And I think the inclusion advisor is an important and a tangible tool to help in the overall process. Working with Workhuman has been fantastic, in short. We first met Workhuman when we were wanting to establish and roll out a formal recognition platform, and they were one of our vendors through the selection process. And we attended the first Workhuman Live event as a prospective customer. And it was at that event that we realized that every employee we met at that conference, every speaker that attended that conference, the attendees at the conference were all passionate and genuine about wanting to bring recognition to the workplace. And not because it was selling a product, but because it was absolutely the right thing to do. And that was what sold us. And we said, look, we can develop a recognition program with kind of anybody, but you guys believe this stuff. So that's who we want to partner with. And that's the key word, is partnership. And I would put Workhuman clearly, far and away, the #1 partner vendor that we work with.